So yet again, Manchester United bottle a 2-0 lead against an opponent. And what a frustrating game that was, to be honest. First half, United were absolutely brilliant. Great early goal from Jadon Sancho, and Marcus Rashford makes it 2-0 just before half-time. And I don't know what team came out, but we were absolutely crap. And we were slowing the game down. I understand that United intend to do that. We don't actually seem to go out and want to get the third goal nowadays. It's embarrassing. I can't remember the last time United actually went 3-0 up in a game. And then what happens? We let the opposition get back a goal, they'll gain momentum, and then United end up drawing or losing the game. It happened with Seville literally 2 weeks ago. At Old Trafford, we were 2-0 up, we gave away the 2-0 lead, and we went out in the Europa League. I'm not saying this is going to cost us top 4 or anything, but you know, for me this does make me nervous because we've literally handed Spurs a point for no reason. United were a much better team in the first half, and the substitutions were very questionable, and I'm going to get onto them in a moment. But we've literally handed Spurs the point tonight, which is a very frustrating result for me. For me, it's 2 points dropped. And for me, I just don't understand what the substitutions were about. Eriksen didn't play 120 minutes in the FA Cup the other day against Brighton, and Sancho didn't even start in that game. So why are you taking them off on the hour? It makes no sense. And then you're bringing on Fred and Martial, who are absolutely abysmal today. Martial looks like he couldn't be arsed, and I never say that on this channel. I think Martial is a very important player for Erik ten Hag's system, but today he looked like he couldn't be arsed. And Fred was passing to Spurs players more than he was our players. He was crap, and it just wasn't a good performance from United today. So, what went wrong? First half, I have no complaints. United were brilliant, and honestly, I would say I couldn't rate any player lower than a 7. Everyone was absolutely brilliant. But the second half, average performances. We got weaker as the substitutions came. Spurs got stronger and stronger by changing their formations, by taking off their attacking fullbacks or wing backs almost, and putting on more forwards to try and get that second goal and that first goal. Because even though I said in my preview that Pedro Porro is a terrible player and he's absolutely shite, he's coming back, bit me on the arse kind of tonight, because he scored an absolutely brilliant goal. But you know, at the end of the day, and same with Son as well. I turned around and said, you watch, Son will score in this game. So literally, I've literally jinxed us massively. Jinxfield, if you don't know what my last name is. But anyway, it was a frustrating game, 100%, and I am disappointed because, you know, I'm still a firm believer that top 4 is not secure. Some fans do think that top 4 is secure. I'm not one of them fans. I think that I'll be a firm believer once we've got Villa out of the way, and then I'd say probably Brighton as well next week. I think once the next week is over, and if United get, let's say, 4 or 6 points from them games, I would honestly say, and that's when I can say top 4 is probably secure, because we've beaten the threatening teams at that point. But you know, we've got hard games ahead. Obviously, we've got Villa on Sunday. We've got Brighton next Thursday, I think it is. So we've got tough games ahead. But you know, I just don't understand what the substitutions were about, and I'm going to mention them now, because taking Eriksen and Sancho off, I just don't understand. We took them off on the hour, bang on the 60th minute, and for what? Eriksen was playing really well. Sancho was a threat. And like I said, Pedro Porro defensively is not good enough. And whoever played on the left, whether it was Rashford or Sancho, were going to have a field day. And that's exactly what happened today. Both goals came off the left-hand side. Obviously, I know Rashford was playing through the middle, and it was on a counter-attack. Beautiful pass by Bruno, by the way, who I also haven't even mentioned yet. Bruno Fernandes started today, which was brilliant. I mean, the guy was literally had a foot cast on, or a foot boot on, literally 3 days ago, and then he's back playing. If that's any other player, guarantee they're out for a week, 2 weeks minimum. If that's Martial, he's out for the season. It just shows you what a brilliant player Bruno Fernandes is, and this is why I have the most respect for Bruno Fernandes, and why he's probably one of my favourite players at the club. But yeah, it was, like I said, it wasn't a frustrating game. It was a frustrating second half, and you know, Spurs, They wanted to show their fans a reaction, and that's what happened. But I didn't like the way the commentary side turned round and said that Spurs were the much better side, which in the second half, yes, they were really good, but I don't know what happened there. But yes, I didn't like the way the commentary side said that Spurs were the better side, because for me they wasn't. They were just better in the second half. And Harry Kane, yes, he did stand out. I wouldn't say it was a man of the match performance, but yeah, for me, Harry Kane, he wasn't like first half. He didn't really get involved in the game, but Harry Kane is probably what allowed Spurs to get the draw. He was dropping deep, and he was showing all the qualities of why Manchester United should sign him in the summer, in my opinion. But yes, like I said, our away home, I said in my preview that our away form this season has been terrible. We've lost or drawn with every single one of the top 7 currently in the Premier League away from home, which is absolutely terrible, really. We've lost at the Etihad, we've lost at Anfield, we've lost at the Emirates, we've lost at St James's Park, we drew tonight with Spurs, we lost against Villa. So out of the current 7, we've literally drawn 1, which is horrific, and that's literally what 1 point from 18. Is that right? I'm not very good at maths, but but anyway, it's not good, and our away form does need to improve. But anyway, I'll give you my match ratings right now. So for me, David De Gea gets a 6. I mean, don't think he was good enough, and the distribution was terrible once again tonight. And the second goal, I do blame on David De Gea. I don't know why. I mean, his just distribution's terrible. That's all you need to say. He gets a 6 because he was at fault for that second goal. Luke Shaw passes the ball back to David De Gea. David De Gea hits the long ball. It goes straight to a Spurs player. The Spurs player heads it to Harry Kane. Harry Kane picks out Son, crosses it, and David De Gea doesn't come out for the ball. And Heung-min Son has a tap-in, which is just terrible, really. So I blame David De Gea for that. I was tempted to give him a 5, but for me, he gets a 6. Wan-Bissaka, for me, I will give him an 8. I felt like he absolutely bullied Richarlison in that first half, and I felt like, yes, he did kind of dip off in form in the second half, but I do think it was a very solid performance from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so for me, he gets an 8. I'm going to give Lindelof and Shaw, I'm also going to give him 8s. I felt like they played really, really well, and, you know, obviously it is always frustrating when you can see 2 goals and you do lose, because it does feel like a loss, but when you concede 2 goals after being 2-0 up, it is very frustrating. But I do think that Shaw and Lindelof, they're building this partnership back up. Obviously it's only the second game in a row what they've played together in, and you know what, I really like this pairing. I do think we need more height in the team. But apart from Scott McTominay, who do you actually bring in? But McTominay's out injured at the moment. You don't play Weghorst. You don't even start Weghorst. And Maguire just doesn't bring the composure that Luke Shaw and Victor Lindelof do. But what I say about Luke Shaw is that I've been critical of Luke Shaw on this channel. And I've said that I think he doesn't have the pace to get back and run up and down the wings all game like Erik ten Hag wants his fullbacks to do. But when Luke Shaw's playing at left centre-back, he can reserve his pace, and then that's why you can see him catching up with Heung-min Son, catching up with Kulusevski, catching him up with Danjuma, catching up with Harry Kane tonight, because he's reserving his pace, and when the players beat him on the break, he can then catch up and make the tackle that he needs to make. And that's where you're going to see the best out of Luke Shaw, and that's why he's such a good left centre-half in my opinion, because he's very quick, but I think that he doesn't have the consistent pace, and he doesn't have the stamina to do it all game long. Dalot, I'm going to give a 7. I would say that he was good, but I wouldn't say he was on the level as Luke Shaw, Wan-Bissaka or Victor Lindelof, but Dalot had a very solid performance today in my opinion. Casemiro, I felt like it was quite a solid performance from Casemiro. I am going to give him a 6. I just felt like in possession he wasn't very good. He didn't really bring much going forward. I kind of like it when Casemiro plays on the edge of the box, and you know, you see him have a shot on target every now and again, or you see him be a bit more creative. I didn't see that from Casemiro tonight. It was kind of disappointing performance from Casemiro in my opinion. Eriksen, I'm going to give an 8. I felt like Eriksen played quite well. Bruno Fernandes, I'm going to give Bruno Fernandes an 8 as well. Considering he's only just come back from injury, that was a beautiful assist for Rashford's second goal as well. Bruno Fernandes for me gets an 8. And I'm trying to think of my man of the match, to be honest. I'm going to give it Bruno. Call me biased or what, or I'm going to give it Bruno. And I was tempted to give it Jadon Sancho, but because Sancho did play really well today, I'm going to speak about Sancho in a moment. But the fact is that he's come back after literally having a boot cast 3 days ago, and he was absolutely brilliant in that first half. And I would say that Bruno Fernandes' first half performance was a 9 out of 10. And I think in the second half he kind of disappeared, but he was still making tackles, he was still trying to build up in possession, and he was playing well. It's just a disappointing result almost, and I don't think that's on Bruno's hands. So Bruno gets my man of the match. Antony also gets a 6. I don't think he was very impactful. I labelled him as the key player for Manchester United in this game, but that was because I thought that Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford wouldn't have the impact that they did. So it's not a bad result. It's not a bad thing to get a 6 out of 10, but you know, it just means you can perform better, or you just had an average performance almost. It's not bad to have an average performance, but you just want your players to be playing better. Marcus Rashford, for me, I'm going to give him an 8. Felt like he was quite solid going forward, gets a great goal. I do think he could have scored a few more. He did have the chances too, which was very unfortunate. And same with Jadon Sancho, I am going to give him an 8 as well. I felt like he played really well. Same with Christian Eriksen as well with Jadon Sancho. I don't know why we made the substitutions. They were very confusing, but you know, I mean, I think I've already been over this, but Jadon Sancho and Eriksen both didn't play the full game in the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton, so why are you taking them off bang on the 60th minute mark? It makes no sense to me. Martial, for me, 5. Weghorst, 5. Malacia, 5. Fred, 3. And I think that's everyone. I'm pretty sure that's everyone. I'm just saying that the substitutions were absolutely terrible. They made us worse, and when Spurs are building momentum and you're bringing on your weaker players, you're going to lose games. You are going to lose them leads, and it's a very frustrating result to deal with, to be honest. And this is why we need stronger and better quality in the depth of the squad. And finally, Erik ten Hag. Setting up wise, I was happy with the squad. I felt like the substitutions were questionable. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. I felt like the substitutions could have been better. I felt like Fred was just absolutely abysmal. You shouldn't have brought Fred on, but obviously Ten Hag wouldn't have known he would have played that badly. So, but I honestly would have took off Fred for Sabitzer. Swear down, I would have brought on Sabitzer for Fred, because Fred was absolutely horrendous. Fred was passing to more Spurs players than he was United players. It was a horrific performance. Martial couldn't be asked. Weghorst just doesn't bring anything to the team. And Malacia, you know, you can see the goal when you come on. We go to a back 4. The lot got changes to right back, and you know, I felt like Wan-Bissaka would have had Heung-min Son if he didn't get taken off, in my opinion. So yeah, that's been my match reaction. Please remember to like, subscribe, comment and share. Thank you for watching. Remember to follow us on TikTok and Instagram, and we'll try to build a bigger and better community. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.